right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast for part of the weekend. We're tracking when you'll need to have the umbrella handy.
Plus tonight, the I-Team explains why home sellers in Missouri don't have to disclose flood risk and why the feds say everyone should buy flood insurance. And our top story tonight, business owners in one local neighborhood demand solutions after crime keeps customers away.
I've seen people get stabbed, a couple of people get knocked out, senior citizens get punched.
Why neighborhood leaders say police just aren't around.
But first, we begin tonight with breaking news out of South St. Louis. Right now, a deadly double shooting in the Dutchtown neighborhood. This happened within the last hour and a half near Minnesota and Winnebago. Police say 2 men were found on opposite sides of the street there and were shot multiple times.
Also tonight, one neighborhood is pleading for more law enforcement and better safety after crime continues to ripple through the area. Now, businesses in that area are fed up. Thank you for being with us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Brent Solomon. Mike Bush has the night off. People who work near the South Grand Boulevard are looking for solutions. Our Elise Schoenig joins us in studio now. Elise, what are they telling you?
Yeah, guys, business owners I spoke to told me they've seen knife fights, aggressive panhandling, and piled up trash through their own windows. One restaurant owner told me the need for change in the area is beyond overdue.
It's been a long year.
That's Mohammed Abdul Qadir. He owns Waburi Restaurant on South Grand Boulevard. But he's got another full-time load on his hands.
I've seen people get stabbed, a couple of people get knocked out, senior citizens get punched.
He's one of many in the South Grand Boulevard Business District with a front row seat to stabbings, panhandling, drug use, and litter outside his own front door. He says it's an exhausting situation with several clear solutions.
Whoever says no more cops, not the answer, is just lying.
The district has been struggling with this issue for years. One central location for crime is the Schnucks on South Grand Boulevard. District leaders say they're working to create solutions.
The majority of the complaints I get on that front are folks who are going into Schnucks and getting the tall cans of alcohol, coming out, drinking, going back in, getting another one, and doing that all day. And by the end of the day, it starts to get a little rowdy.
Alderwoman Megan Green and others from the district sent this letter to the grocery store today, proposing a solution where Schnucks would pay $15,000 to help make the area a community improvement district where, quote, area businesses pool tax revenues to fund maintenance, beautification, safety, and more of the South Grand is the best path forward. The store says it's already taking steps, like installing additional fencing on its sidewalks and expanding resources with behavioral health response.
That means we really need Schnucks to come to the table.
With how much Abdul Qadir has seen, he says the thought of it all is just upsetting. He says he's seen more than any human eye should.
Oh, they're animals. You cannot call these people animals. Animals are... You call some of these people animals, you're really insulting the animals.
Alderwoman Green says if Schnucks does not want to be a part of that community improvement district, they do have some other suggestions for ways the store can contribute to a safer, cleaner South Grand district.
All right, Elise, thanks. Just a few hours ago, bullets flew inside of a Schnucks supermarket in North St. Louis. And now we've learned it was a security guard who shot a man who allegedly threatened him. Our Robert Townsend, the only reporter who spoke with an employee who saw it all happen.
It was crazy.
A crazy, chaotic, and scary time for Kira McHenry, her co-workers, and lots of customers at this Schnucks supermarket near Union and Natural Bridge in North St. Louis.
It's kids, children, and everything that come in this store.
It bothers me because I like to shop here. I don't like to feel like I'm afraid.
McHenry says shortly after 2:30, she alerted this security guard about a male customer inside the store acting strangely and talking to himself.
I don't even know what type of noises it was, but it was just very loud and weird. But, you know, it was distracting.
She says the guard went inside and approached the man.
And he kept on asking the man, will you please just leave?
But police say the unarmed suspect, who may have mental health issues, refused to leave. They say he stepped outside but then stormed back inside the grocery store, lunged toward the security guard, and threatened him.
Because he kept running up in his face. It didn't really get scary for me until he forced his way, you know, inside the store. because we end up having to lock the doors.
Police say the security guard fired 6 gunshots and hit the man at least once in his arm. Shopper Marvin Vaughn is also a security guard.
So I can understand. It don't take place for somebody to kill you, so you have to kind of be aware of that.
Police tell me the shooting happened back there just a few feet inside the store's lobby. Nobody else was hurt. Police say the wounded man ran outside and hopped in a car with his niece. They say the niece drove a few blocks away where officers arrested the guy and took him to a hospital. A rattled Kira McHenry relieved the mayhem finally ended.
Thank God. Thank God.
Robert Townsend, 5 Your Side.
And that Schnucks temporarily closed as police investigated. The store reopened a few hours later.
2 Mercy Hospital South healthcare workers were attacked while on the job over the weekend. The workers were assaulted by a patient in the ER. One employee suffered a concussion. The other is pregnant and was checked out by doctors. Mercy Hospital South sent a statement addressing the assault. They asked for prayers and for the co-workers and for the community to show patience and kindness to healthcare workers everywhere. It was a beautiful, almost, I would say, perfect day.
Sure, you can say that, but we could be in for a wet weekend. Sorry to break it to you. Scott Connell joining us with a closer look at the forecast.
Well, a wet weekend just kind of sounds so rough, doesn't it? It's really more like a couple of hours where we would have to deal with some rain at any one spot. Most of us aren't really going to have to deal with that as we head through time. So let's take a look at what's going on here. As we look north of St. Louis, we find some showers and thunderstorms. Nothing around St. Louis at the moment. It's all up into Iowa and up into Wisconsin and Minnesota. But that is our weather, and it's going to be our weather as we head into Saturday. So your Saturday rain chances, they're there early in the morning. They kind of back off a while and then start creeping back up later in the day. And by Saturday evening, scattered showers and thunderstorms definitely in the forecast. You know, it was a near perfect day as you look over towards Busch Stadium. You know, we had a grand slam by some dude named Pujols. Yeah, Friday's bright and warm too. Scattered storms are expected on Saturday, but the emphasis there is scattered. We're thinking in any one spot, you probably don't have to deal with rain more than 2 hours through the course of the day. There is lots of weekend dry time. We're going to track it out and show you what it looks like as those showers and thunderstorms try to develop with future casts in just a few minutes.
All right, Scott, stay close. Starting Monday, the Blue Metrolink line will be back on track nearly a month after historic flooding took it out.
New at 10, our 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski is live at the Forest Park de Bolivar station. And Laura, riders are telling you these delays, of course, really impacting them.
Yeah, they are, Ann and Brent. Riders tell me that as of right now, the delays they're dealing with before the blue line's even back on are making them late for work. Service is very unpredictable. And while the blue line will be back starting Monday, Metrolink says there will still be delays because they will be single tracking.
Tim Jones has been riding the Metrolink for more than a decade to get to work. He says he's glad the blue line will be back, but the delays can't get much worse than they are right now with shuttles in between.
You have to get off a bus to get onto a train, to get back on a bus, to get back on a train. So it is slowing down the process, and it's making my commute much longer than it used to be.
Starting on Monday, Metrolink says trains will be single tracking and both blue and red line trains are scheduled to arrive every 20 minutes like the weekend schedule.
They'll be working at a lower speed for safety concerns, but we still will be going to every single station and running every single train all the way through St. Louis.
Jones says for many people he sees every morning, this is their only way to get to work.
It's tough for people who have hourly wage. I don't have to worry about it as much, but if you're coming in 30 minutes late every day, it could jeopardize your job.
Tremaine Gates says he was almost in that very situation.
But I almost lost my job too, you know, during this happening, and people that just wasn't affected by it, you know, they just didn't understand right away.
Metrolink says the damage total has gone up to $40 million. That includes elevators at the Forest Park de Bolivar station, 5 signal houses, an entire train, a vehicle, and lots of structural damage. But they hope to build back stronger.
We're also building to get a better, more resilient system, a system that can react to these unprecedented storms that we're going to continue to see as time goes on.
Gates and Jones both hope that's sooner rather than later.
It's going to be a relief when everything gets back smooth and everybody can go according to the schedule, you know, because right now it's like people are losing a lot.
So if you're at this station, the Forest Park to Bolivar station, to use the blue line, you're going to use the eastbound platform. To get on the red line, you're going to use the westbound platform. And remember, this all starts on Monday, and those shuttle buses will stop going in between. Reporting live in St. Louis, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
Laura, thanks. If you're in need of flood assistance, you can text the word HELP to 314-425-5355. We'll send you a link with resources.
Problems remain long after floodwaters recede.
And now I can't sell it. I can't do anything with it.
Now one woman wants you to know the risks, why reading the fine print is vital when buying flood insurance. Ramping up efforts against monkeypox, the new moves the White House is making to fight the outbreak.
Right now, the active weather is well to our north. When our shower and thunderstorm chances ramp up and how it may impact your weekend plans.
As record flooding devastated parts of our area, experts say your risk of flooding may be higher than you think.
The I-Team's Paula Vassan speaks with a woman in St. Louis County who lost everything from flooding a few years ago and has a warning for residents that she wishes her family had known.
Historic flooding has pummeled the St. Louis area in the last few weeks.
We are on location with Rescue Squad 1 and Engine 28.
Leading to rescues.
I stood in water up to my knees.
And hundreds of people without homes. Sandy Starnes remembers.
We lost everything.
Once filled with memories.
That kitchen in there was my mom's pride and joy.
This home where Sandy Starnes lived with her parents for 10 years.
It was the first house they ever owned.
Is now too dangerous to go inside. Memories now covered by mold.
It got up into the main level. You can see where it's rusted too.
A flood in 2019 made this home in Limay unlivable. Starnes believes real estate agents were misleading about the seriousness of the risk. She says her parents, who've since passed away, paid the price.
They were given the impression that it's not really a big deal.
She says her family did know they were in what the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, calls a high-risk flood zone. And since they also had a federally backed mortgage, it meant they had to buy flood insurance. Her father thought it would be the ultimate safety net.
He thought if there was any major flooding, flood insurance would give him money to repair or replace anything that's lost during the flood.
In 2019, when they lost everything, she says FEMA paid about $50,000 to cover the rest of the mortgage, but it didn't cover the extent of their loss.
And now I can't sell it. I can't do anything with it.
Federal records show this home is in one of the most flood-prone areas of the country, smack in between Gravois Creek and River Des Peres. Data from FEMA shows the risk of flooding here is at least 1% each year. But that risk compounds with time. So over a typical 30-year mortgage, there's actually a more than 26% chance of serious flooding. Many experts believe even this underestimates the threat. What can people do to protect themselves?
No matter where you live, FEMA encourages everyone to buy flood insurance.
FEMA spokesperson John Mills also advises to read the fine print.
Read your policy carefully to understand what it covers.
And it's especially important, experts say, because of where we are. Federal data shows Missouri is one of about a dozen states in the U.S. that doesn't require documentation for sellers to disclose flood risk. There is no federal law.
We do find that there's many more homes that have risks.
Michael Lopez works at First Street Foundation, which factors in climate change to analyze flood risk. His nonprofit's research shows in St. Louis County alone, there are more than 15,000 properties that may be at serious risk of flooding, but aren't considered to be in what FEMA calls a high-risk flood zone. Lopez says FEMA's flood maps, which many people use to figure out their risk level, don't capture the full picture. He says it's largely because of regulatory hurdles that mean it can take up to 7 years to make updates.
Which means that by the time a new map comes out, it's already out of date.
He also says FEMA is pressured to not update those maps. Property owners, he says, don't want neighborhoods included in a high-risk flood zone because it could lower home values. As a result, he says change is slow and insufficient. It means homebuyers can be left in the dark.
It just makes us upset to know that it took my parents so many years to be able to afford to buy a house. And then just to walk away from it, it's heartbreaking.
Starnes wants others to know their risk before they find themselves underwater.
It's better to have to wait on something good than to rush into something and have to pay for it in the end.
Around the country, researchers at First Street Foundation say 15 million homes are at risk of flooding, 70% higher than FEMA estimates. Head to the story online and you can look up your address to figure out your flood risk. You can also read about tips to protect your home from flooding.
If you have a tip for the 5 on Your Side I-Team, call us at 314-444-5231 or email 5onyourside@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
Tonight, the White House is making moves to accelerate its response to monkeypox. Today, the Department of Health and Senior Services announced it will have nearly 2 million doses of the vaccine available for order by Monday. The CDC released tools to help localities train providers and healthcare professionals on how to administer the vaccine intradermally.
Although we anticipate vaccines will provide protection, temporarily reducing or avoiding behaviors that increase your risk of monkeypox exposure is important, especially between your first and second doses of vaccine. From what we know right now, we expect protection to be the highest 2 weeks after the second dose of the vaccine.
More than 13,500 cases of monkeypox have now been confirmed in the U.S.
Tonight, a federal judge says he might unseal portions of the affidavit justifying the FBI search at former President Trump's home. Now the judge is ordering the Justice Department to file what it wants redacted by next Thursday. The department is saying the release would significantly compromise the ongoing criminal investigation. A Trump spokesperson called to make the affidavit public with now redactions. And let's get back to Scott. Tracking some rain, but on both sides of this few hours of rain, like you said, it is fantastic.
You know, we haven't hit 90 this week around St. Louis.
In August. What a dream.
We did at the very beginning of the month. You know, it was a rough start, and then things have settled out, and it has become incredibly comfortable across the St. Louis area. One of the reasons why is we keep getting cooler air delivered from Canada, and that's keeping us from getting hot and humid. But that same weather pattern tends to bring us disturbances. One tonight kicking off the showers and storms up in Iowa, back into Wisconsin and Minnesota. That effectively is going to be what makes our weather as we head into the weekend. But it's quiet right now, and those storms that are approaching Des Moines, they'll fall apart before they can impact us. We will see a few clouds around tomorrow. There are some out there right now. We're in the mid-70s in St. Louis. Even outlying areas are still close to 70 degrees in a lot of cases tonight. Dew point, though, is still only 61. That's relatively low considering August in St. Louis. A lot of times we're dealing with those dew points around 70, even higher. So 76 at the moment, 86 was our high. The low this morning, 65 degrees. We're dry today. We should be dry tomorrow. Just a few clouds around overnight, staying in the mid-60s in town. Outlying areas closer to that 60-degree mark. Tomorrow may be the last Friday before the kids go back to school in a lot of cases. So maybe you're heading over towards the City Museum. It'll be a lot like today was tomorrow. Temperatures are headed back into the upper 80s come tomorrow afternoon, and we're dry tomorrow. Tomorrow night, during the overnight hours into very early on Saturday, that's when we have these scattered showers trying to make a run at us. Here's the thing, though. They tend to fizzle a bit as we head into Saturday morning. So we're thinking the midday hours on Saturday, it's kind of variably cloudy. We'll start to heat up. And then during the afternoon, early evening, the chances of scattered showers and thunderstorms, that's when they would tend to increase. And then we'll see that action press south and east of St. Louis as we head into the overnight hours. And by Sunday, most of us are done with the rain. There's still a chance south and east of St. Louis, but most of us will be done. And we don't think there's a lot of widespread heavier rainfall. Most of us will stay under an inch. Having said that, there will be a few downpours, and the Storm Prediction Center does have this area north and west of St. Louis in a marginal risk for an isolated strong storm, with gusty winds being the main threat there. Again, we don't expect widespread severe weather, but keep your eye to the sky and stay weather alert as we go into Saturday, the late afternoon, evening hours for about 2 hours or so, and then the rain chances will go past any one spot. Next week looks mainly dry. How about that mid-80s? Still don't have a 90-degree forecast.
And that's all right. Who's complaining about it?
We're
not me.
Scott, thanks. It's time now for sports.
A new TV deal means more primetime games for Illinois and the rest of the Big Ten. We'll discuss one player who's been waiting on this moment.
Throw that first pitch for a strike.
Albert hits it out to deep left, and
Tip your hat, Albert. Today, Mr. Pujols hit career home run number 690, bringing him that much closer to the 700 mark. Aside from Pujols, there were plenty of reasons to smile over at the ballpark earlier today as the Cards wrapped up a series with the Rockies. The three amigos put their stamp on the game early. Yadier Molina following up that strikeout with the throwout at second. Yadios. Waino had 6 punch-outs. Look at the snap on this curve as he threw 7 shutout innings on the day. And you saw it earlier, and here it is again. Albert with the pinch hit grand slam, putting the Cardinals up 10-0. It was 12-0 in the 7th inning when Albert came through again. Tommy Edman will score for the 5th RBI on the day for number 5. And you know, managers aren't supposed to smile during a game, but it was that kind of day for Ali Marmol and the Redbirds. The final 13-0, and Waino summed up his outing.
My job today was just to not mess it up. You know, the offense was the story. You know, I pitched a good game, but they were incredible. You know, and Albert hitting the grand slam. I mean, we're just kind of like living in the shadow right now, which is where we should be. But he's incredible.
We're playing the best baseball that we've been playing all year long, and playing, you know, against great teams, and you know, and just continue to trust our work, and hopefully, you know, adding more wins, and hopefully, you know, win the Central.
If you're a lover of Big Ten football, you're going to be really excited. Today, the conference turned down a TV offer from ESPN to sign a $7 billion TV deal with CBS, Fox, and NBC to share the rights of football and basketball games for the next 7 years. Under the agreement, Fox will broadcast a noon game, an afternoon game will air on CBS, and a primetime game will air on NBC. That means you're fighting Illini, and all those players from right here in our backyard will get to showcase their talents on national TV and not just the Big Ten network. For St. Louis and Isaiah Williams, he's not shying away from the bright lights. He told our Corey Miller earlier, last year he was getting a feel for being a wide receiver. This season he's comfortable and confident, and his teammates see that too.
Man, he's special guy. I mean, he's a competitor. He competes in everything, whether it's rock, paper, scissors or a game of one-on-one basketball, but he knows he can't beat me in that.
I want to constantly get better every single day. You know, by game week 1 to week 12, week 13, week 14, however many games we play, by week 14, I want that defender to be like, oh, this ain't the guy I seen week 1. He got a whole different back. He pulling out some new stuff. So every single week I want to get better.
That's how you do it. Now, you know we can't talk about college football without mentioning those Tigers of Missouri. So far, you've heard all about Luther Burden III, the guy who's going to be throwing to him, Brady Cook, and the rest of the weapons on offense. But what about new defensive coordinator Blake Bell and that defense? They're trying to improve on their 105th defensive ranking out of 130 FBS teams last year. Bell says the Tigers' biggest strength this season will be their numbers on that side of the ball.
Those guys are all trying to help each other. It's not a, out to get you kind of outfit. And I think that's been really impressive to see. And as those guys continue to grow and bond together, because there is a lot of new faces in that room, I think that can definitely be the strength is just sending in. It's like hockey shifts, you know. So that's a huge benefit for us.
And lastly, right here at home, the SLU women kicked off their 2022 season against number 8 Arkansas. And look at that crowd, more than 3,000 on hand for this match, and they had plenty of reasons to cheer early on. The ball finds Emily Gabe, and it's a Billikens goal. They would take a 1-0 lead at halftime and would end up holding on to that lead for their first win of the season. More excitement for them as they host Notre Dame next week. So a big season for SLU women's soccer.
Yeah, it's going to be really big, Ahmad.
You know we'll be there.
Thanks for that.
It was the catch of the day at the Lake of the Ozarks, the fish that landed one man in the history books. For the first time ever, Americans are watching streaming services more than cable television. According to new Nielsen data, streaming services were responsible for 34.8% of TV viewing in July. Cable was only at 34.4%, so 0.4% difference between the two. Netflix, Hulu, and Prime Video were among the many platforms which set records for viewing time.
And a Nebraska man is walking away with the catch of the day. Rich Porter was bull fishing back in May at the Lake of the Ozarks, and he reeled in this bad boy, a 14-pound, 6-ounce short-nosed gar. Porter now holds the Missouri state record under alternative for short-nosed gar.
A new shop is rolling into the City Foundry. Big Shark Bicycle will open a full-service bike retail and repair store later this year. Big Shark Bicycle Company has a wide range of bikes and other products, as well as professionally trained staff to help cyclists.
Not a bad gig. Well, that is all of our time. For 5 on Your Side at 10, The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, is coming up next.
His guest tonight, he is Martin Short, Juno Temple, and Demi Lovato. Have a great Friday.